Thanks for the kind introduction. Respected Arvind Verma sir, Colonel Arvind Verma sir, CPMG Assam Circle, Director Postal Accounts and Finance Northeast Circle, Dr. Yo Peter Refia, Chief Accounts Officer from Headquarters, Sri Ram Kishan Sain, Sri Guneet Singh Anand, Assistant Manager, PFRDA, Sri Sunny Gonsalves, Senior Manager, CRA Protean, and all the participants, all the DDOs and POs who are assembled here. So we are in this particular second workshop. So first workshop was held at Mumbai, and this organization of workshop was within a short span of time. And out of the 4 departments, just like to apprise you that there are 4 departments which contribute more than 2/3 of the central government employees, like Department of Post, Railways, Defence, Home Affairs, and Personal also, so to a certain extent. Department of Post contribute around 1,70,000 employees. So our Secretary, Department of Financial Services had suggested that we should reach out to these 4 departments because they constitute about a majority of the central government employees. So this is the main reason we are here. And the first workshop, so very good participation, and it is being accessed online by so many officers, employees also. So that is a welcome step. And Department of Post has been kind enough to organize quickly these workshops, and that too in Shillong. This second workshop we are here. And first of all, Department of Post, especially DDOs, POs, and the directorate concerned in Department of Post, as well as the directorate here in Northeast Circle. So you had done a great work in the sense, in the beginning of the scheme, when the scheme was initially started, there was a lot of applications pending with DDOs and POs. So we had a meeting with, our secretary had a meeting with financial advisors of all the departments, where you DDOs and POs are reporting to them. So automatically, because of your hard work, now pendency has reduced to a great extent. Thanks for that. And gratitude to CPMG sir also for organizing this section. And in this particular section, we will have a detailed presentation by PFRDA, followed by Mr. Sri Sunny Gonsalves. He is from Protean CRA, and they would be giving a very detailed presentation. And in the last session, we saw so many questions raised by participants, because almost all are aware of the scheme, like DDOs, you all are aware of the scheme. But then certain aspects you may need to have doubt clearing session. So we had a meeting with, last month we had a meeting with all the departments of central government, around 50-60, numbers around 50-60, and out of that 12 ministries departments told that okay, they are aware of the scheme, but they need a doubt clearing session. So that also we are planning, and whatever link which is circulated for this meeting, we have also circulated to all those departments. Then for example, any scheme like NPS, which was earlier rolled out in 2004. At that point of time, there was a lot of concerns among the central employees, because how it will go, and in the long run how it will be, whether it would be beneficial. Like state governments also were reluctant to start take this scheme. But after that, state government also have adopted. Almost all the state governments, 28 states have adopted that, and they are now interested in rolling the UPS also. In the case of UPS and NPS, these are all schemes for the central government employees. So we are not concerned about, see, we do hard work like anything in the offices, maybe till 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, but then we are not concerned about ourselves. We should spend at least half an hour every day for our, we should think on our retirement benefits or our personal needs. We have to just focus on that. So any scheme which is rolled out by the central government, like Jan Dhan Yojana, like Ministry of Finance schemes I am aware, so Jan Dhan Yojana, PMSBY, PMJJBY, Adult Pension Yojana. For that we are conducting regular camps, regular meetings with state government, and banks are having meeting with various institutions. But in the case of scheme for the central government, usually we come to know from the social media platform or through press release or something. But then this type of workshop exclusively for us to understand the various components of the scheme, so that we'll be able to do an informed choice. So PFRDA would be covering the detailed presentation, but then I thought 3 or 4, around 10, 11 points within a short period. I would explain you. During 1993, this is just an example because these all minor issues we may not be aware. So during 1993, there was an option to choose between contributory provident fund and pension. Okay, contributory provident fund, like the present situation we are facing, to choose between NPS and UPS. So contributory provident fund at that point of time was giving good returns, but pension, it was just started, and after a certain point of time, so many institutions like LIC, State Bank of India and several institutions, so most of them adopted contributory provident fund at that point of time, thinking that okay, returns are very good, quite good, 13% at that point of time, 13% returns, interest rates were quite high at that point of time. So most of them chose contributory provident. But on the way forward, after 6-7 years, pension became more attractive. So since I had served in Department of Financial Service, Insurance and few other sectors, now the LIC and other organizations want to choose a pension. So they went to court and so many fighting they had done, and at last one more option was given in 1999. So the same situation we are facing now, like NPS and UPS. We need to do an informed choice. So recently one development happened, like one-time switch from UPS to NPS. So NPS is offering a compound annual interest rate of around 9.5 till date, and 1 year before retirement. So suppose we choose UPS, and 1 year before retirement we can go back to NPS, or if you are doing VRS at 20 years, we can go back to 3 months before VRS, we can shift it to NPS. In the case of retirement, 1 year before you have to. So in that case, you will get that 4% additional central government contribution plus default return for that 14 plus 10%. So this concern will take away, because there was a concern among the employees that whether if I choose UPS, then okay, 4% I will lose, and all those issues were there, and sometimes return may be quite high. But let me give an example. Long back, our interest rate were quite high in India, and the interest rate is slightly decreasing. In the case of NPS also, it was around 12%, 13%. It has come down to 9.5%. So in the long run, India being in the path of development, maybe after 10 years, see, on the way from Guwahati to Shillong, long back, 10 years back, I visited Shillong. The roads were very bad, and surprised, roads were quite good at this point of time. So that shows the development, how the progressive India is on the way to become a Vikasit Bharat. Maybe after 10 years, I don't know how much returns will be there, because in the developed countries like US and France or OECD countries, the returns are very less, like the 3%, 2% interest rate. So this is one important thing which I would like to apprise. And now for VRS, there is no UPS. There is a concern that okay, after VRS, 20 years VRS is not an option there. So now VRS is going to be an option. So in that case, 20 years, if you are taking VRS, either you can shift to NPS 3 months before taking VRS, or you can continue in UPS. In that UPS, if you continue in UPS, you will get pro rata what is you are getting for UPS. Like UPS 25 years, full 25 years is there for need for a full pension. So once you are taking VRS, you will get pro rata return. Okay, so Department of Pensioners Welfare, they are shortly bringing out UPS rules, like NPS rules 2021. UPS role they are bringing out, where they would define what is a procedure in the case of dismissal, removal of the service. Suppose you are retiring before 10 years, what will be the provision? So before 10 years, you will be automatically shifting to NPS. That is what they are proposing in their rules. So it will be out shortly, within a 1 week, because they are doing a lot of consultations, and with 4 or 5 departments, Department of Financial Services, then DOPT, and few other departments, expenditure. So they had 2 rounds of consultation. So we need to ensure that rules, once it is finalized, become perfectly fine. Then dearness relief is another component. In NPS, it is dearness returns component is not there. Okay. So suppose returns are there, okay, you will get 14% return for 10 plus 14%, and what is the return at that point of time. But this dearness relief is something not there. So recently NPS Trust, I think 2 months back, NPS Trust had released a calculator on their website, where you can insert the figures. All those are based on assumptions, like interest rate would be high, my salary would be growing like this, everything. So based on that, you will get some idea. Okay, so it may show that okay, NPS is slightly better, but with the case of this DNS relief and switch option and the DNS relief component, because our salary gets increased every time, and so due to that the DNS relief is one of the main difference between NPS and UPS. Then lump sum payment, which is neither in old pension scheme or new pension scheme. Like every completed 6 months you will get 10% of the salary plus basic salary plus DA. Okay, so that every completed 6 months means okay, 1 year it will be 10% of so 25 years means 50 into that particular calculation. So that is not there in older pension scheme, but I'm not telling that older pension scheme is worse than UPS, but then that is one of the added advantage. Then another aspect is something relating to OECD countries. Okay, so pension sector in our country, pension sector, our pension assets as a percentage of GDP is around 17%, whereas in the case of developed countries it is around 80, 100, etc. Okay, so developed countries have reached a stage of development, but there is no further area for further development. So there majority of the population is pensioners. So they have already devised some sort of a scheme for pensioners because they have reached the higher stage of development, and their schemes are also more focused on pensioners like Japan and other countries. So there, so OECD countries are very pakka in their this pension and all related activities. There are a lot of studies. So there they have adopted a scheme something like UPS. Okay, all the OECD countries except 2 countries, they are adopted NPS. So India is also, anyway, we are lucky that this type of an option came into existence, and this switch facility also came into picture. But none of the developed countries, they are sticking to this type of OPS like scheme, because Reserve Bank of India, they have their study, they had mentioned like if you go for old pension scheme, then it will be 4.5 times costly than NPS. So UPS is something between NPS and the older pension scheme. So that anyway it is difficult to happen, because see, India, if you want to develop further, a lot of resource should be there, and this being one of the fiscal deficit component, I don't think so that OPS will come back again. So this is one important thing. Developed countries, because we usually follow the pattern of developed countries, how they follow. We do so many studies of various developed economies as well as developing, like highly developing economies also, and then we are adopting all this. Whereas in the case of China, it is the pension assets as a percentage of GDP is much less. So I am not quoting about China. So OECD is the best example which I thought of highlighting here. Then see, unified pension scheme, now when it was adopted, okay, after adoption there were so many additions. Like 1993 I told about the contributory provident fund and pension in the beginning there was no that the features were not up to the mark. Then after that it has improved. So I am not assuring that okay, it will be subjected to further improvements, but this is just starting, and already there is a switch option, so it is better to switch to UPS. And India, in the pace of development we are witnessing, we will be, I think within next 10 years we will be a developed economy, and maybe by 2035 or something, so that the returns also, I don't know how much returns, it is subject to this thing. Then past retirees, now my request to, here also I express my gratitude to DDOs and POs. They had done a tremendous work. PFRDA, they had been highlighting in this advertising in newspaper, like past retirees to take the benefits of UPS. So if past retirees take the benefit of UPS, they doesn't lose anything. Okay, lump sum payment every completed 6 months they will get. DNS relief they will get. So anyway, they will not lose anything. Out of 25,000 past retirees, around 9,000 past retirees are opted for the scheme. So I think that is due to the work of all the department, especially DDOs and POs. Because and PFRDA had been doing a tremendous job, because they had done a lot of awareness activity. I am also, from the last session I could understand that okay, from Mr. Shri Sunny Golsalvis is also there from their side also, because operational lot of issues might be there, like DDOs and POs, they might have a lot of questions to ask to him like the last session. So they are also playing a very important role. And so I again request, because you might be aware of the past retirees, those who have retired. So please reach out to the past retirees, because this is the right time. We will be, if you reach out, then we will be doing a helping hand to them. And so then tax benefit. Okay, tax benefit recently, government of India had issued a tax that it was a part of the bill, actually income tax bill, which was introduced in the parliament. We want to ensure that, okay, it get released soon, so that whoever is retiring or whatever benefits are given, it is free from tax. So whatever, if all the benefits which was there for NPS is now applicable for UPS, and suppose in the UPS you chose other than default option and you get higher returns, okay, that higher returns also not taxable up to 60% withdrawal. Okay, so that is one added advantage. So then death gratuity and retirement gratuity. This I think all are aware of that. You have the option to shift to OPS. Suppose you passes away during the service, then you can shift to OPS, and gratuity anyway it is there for NPS, UPS, and all the leave encashment, because one of the colleagues raised, okay, whether we will get leave encashment. So it is all separate, and anyway we will get. It is some sort of part of a DOPT rules or something. So that anyway we get. Then for UPS, another advantage is minimum pension 10,000 rupees, because NPS, the concern was that, okay, returns were not up to the mark, and few employees who retired after 10 years, the returns were much less. So here there is an assurity that, okay, you will get 10,000 as minimum pension. And my request to, because see, new joinees in the beginning when they opted for the scheme, at that time, see, NPS UPS was in the process of development. So whoever new joinees are joining from this day, this particular day, because they usually reach out to DDOs to get the forms and other thing. They usually reach out to you, and you can guide them actually all this. And this is the main purpose of this training, so that whatever, to make an informed choice. We are not forcing them to make a choice, but then informed choice. So at the later point of time, surprisingly, if NPS is offering higher returns, then if you want to take the benefit, then you can shift to NPS. So these are all the recent developments, and DOPPW would be releasing the rules shortly, where they would be talking about how the procedure should be followed before retirement. 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, you have to start the process. Like NPS rules 2021, UPS rules also will be out shortly, where the VRS would be covered. Then suppose you are covering 10 years before her retirement, what will be the procedure? Everything it would be covered. So this is all. Thank you, Postmaster, Chief Postmaster General, and Director Shri Peter Raffia, Dr. Peter Raffia, for this particular event. And I thank Department of Post Headquarters also, their director and all the senior officers who gave the opportunity for PFRDA and DFS, as also the Protean, to make a presentation and clear your doubts. Thank you very much.